This content is produced by DarkNetBreaker, a cybersecurity and dark web education brand. All videos, posts, and content are strictly for educational and awareness purposes only. We do not promote, support, or encourage any illegal activity. Our mission is to expose digital threats, protect online users, and educate the public about cybersecurity risks in the modern world. Stay ethical. Stay protected.
A standard supermax prison relies on strict obedience to physics. We use reinforced concrete, hardened steel, and gravity to keep people inside. But those materials assume the prisoner is bound by the exact same laws of thermodynamics as the rest of us. When you need to cage someone who can bend space, generate localized black holes, or rewrite the laws of physics, steel and concrete are useless. The Baumann Parahuman Containment Center, the Birdcage, operates as a true oubliette. Buried deep inside a geologically stable mountain, it is designed for permanent, irreversible exile. The structural flaw with any static facility is that it is built to resist predictable forces. Parahumans are dynamic variables. They mutate, they escalate, and their powers react unpredictably to stress. Traditional security is obsolete when the threat itself actively changes the rules the system operates under. The PRT system maps linear physical threats to exponential ones. For a brute, we build walls with a higher density threshold. For strangers, physical walls are useless. We rely on automated sensors. Tinkers demand a complete vacuum, isolated from raw materials, so they cannot escape. Attempting to match static architectural countermeasures to dynamic, mutating threats is a losing game of catch-up. To delay that failure, the Birdcage relies on a strategy of spatial isolation and a strict zero-human policy. This serves as the ultimate defense in-depth firewall. By removing human guards from the interior, you remove the psychological leverage a prisoner might exploit. Clinical security is maintained by Dragon's artificial intelligence. Automated sentries patrol the cell blocks, monitoring every interaction without anger, fatigue, or susceptibility to bribes. Human error is engineered out of the equation. Inside, the system forces a brutal sociological experiment. The inmates are left to form their own gangs and territories. Because resources are scarce and the environment is entirely sealed, the prisoners end up policing themselves out of sheer survival instinct. It is mutually assured destruction localized to a few square miles. The most secure prison on Earth doesn't actually rely on its steel walls. Its final internal firewall is a fragile ecosystem of supervillains keeping each other in check. In cybersecurity, a zero-day exploit targets a vulnerability the system architects don't even know exists yet. In the Birdcage, specific parahumans act as living zero-days. They are anomalies designed to bypass the prison's internal logic. Think about the infiltration vectors. A tinker or a stranger can develop cloaking techniques that function much like encrypted Tor traffic on a computer network. They mask their biological and energetic signatures, allowing them to slip past the sensory grids completely undetected. This network map models the contagion vulnerability introduced by masters and trumps. These are individuals who can hijack the minds or abilities of others. They simply take over the adjacent cells, creating a biological botnet inside the prison. The inmates are no longer locked in mutually assured destruction. Instead, a single master links them together into a synchronized weapon aimed directly at the central AI. A systemic paradox emerges. We constructed the Birdcage using advanced Tinkertech, yet we populate it with people whose nature is to dismantle that technology. Any defense in-depth model will eventually collapse when the malware you lock inside is a highly adaptable, mutating human variable operating from inside the network. We also have to consider the Endbringer scenario. What happens when an apocalyptic force decides to test the structural integrity of the mountain itself? By gathering the most dangerous, unstable anomalies on the planet and locking them in a single location, we haven't solved the parahuman problem. We have created a terrifying single point of failure. Imagine the logistics of a siege. The facility is deliberately designed to be inaccessible. If the outer shell is breached, the PRT cannot easily deploy reinforcements inside, and the internal automated systems will rapidly degrade under the stress of an external attack. The absolute isolation strategy was designed to keep the world safe from the Birdcage. During a global-scale crisis, that exact isolation transforms the facility into humanity's greatest strategic liability. The DarkNetBreaker mandate realizes that this facility stands as a monument to defensive hubris. The meticulous PRT ratings, the threat matrices, and the containment architectures are tools for delay. They provide no permanent solution. We maintain a public illusion of absolute security to keep society functioning. But behind the reinforced bulkheads, the reality is a chaotic concentration of unpredictable, exponential power mutations. The birdcage is a quarantine zone ticking down to absolute zero, the moment the laws of physics break for good.